Hi guys. Um, how's everyone? Um, yeah, hi everybody. So it is 10:10. Ooh, good timing. It is 10:10. We're running a little bit behind. That's because some of us are having technical difficulties again. But yeah, tonight's going to be a fun Hoodoo Q&A. We're going to be talking about seven knobs, and me and my godmother will give you descriptions. I know that I personally plan on giving out works that I have tried and done with a seven knob, but I think she's just going to be talking about different uses and eclectic minded uses for them. Um, and Also, I'm also going to talk about the alternatives to seven knots. I don't know if I don't know if she plans on doing that, but I know that that is most definitely what I plan on doing. Uh, so I think we have a good show for you tonight. We're just waiting for the woman of the hour, per usual. My beautiful godmother. I'm also sharing out the link too to make sure that we can get as many people to come because, like, I hear that these people like these events, and so um, it might as well generate a little bit of buzz about it too. Um, So I would like to, I would like to say hi to you guys. And while we're waiting for my godmother, I guess I could talk a little bit about my day. Um, Today I ran some errands and I did a little bit of walking and exploring about Omaha. And I know you guys are probably thinking, what is there to explore? But there's actually a lot. Um, but today I stopped at one of my favorite stores, which is the Conjure Shop, Omaha, Nebraska. If you get the chance to visit, if you ever get the chance to visit, please do so. It's a beautiful store, and the store owner is really nice. Her name is Izzy, and she is a lovely person. And it was a just really nice. It was a nice day. If you go to my Facebook page, which the link or will be in the description. If you're not friends with me or following me on Facebook, please do, and please like my Shine Laveau page. But if you're friends with me on Facebook, you saw the goodies that I picked up today, and so amongst those goodies, I recently picked up a new deck of Lenormand cards. For those of you that don't know, I read Lenormand. I've been told I'm pretty good at it. That's what I've been told. um, but I picked up a new deck of Lenormand cards today, and it was just a nice outing. You know, sometimes you just need to step out for a little while just to get your peace of mind and just to not go crazy from looking at the same walls. Um, so I did that, and I did yard work, which is extremely relaxing, and it's a beautiful thing to do yard work because it's a connecting to the earth thing. You know that's probably the more boring part of my day, but uh, I would like to say just overall I've had a nice day. It's been a beautiful day. So we are still waiting for the woman of the hour, Lorena. Um, you guys, Lorena. I call her godmother. She said she will be there. She will be here shortly. And so I'm not gonna rush her. I'm just gonna keep my head on straight and just remind you guys that the topic for tonight is seven knob candles. Seven knob candles are kind of a big deal when it comes to my godmother. She will talk about all of the important things. But I remember the first time I asked her, you know, how would you use a seven knob candle? She stated to me that I feel like a seven knob candle is one of the most powerful tools when it comes to candle burning because each day you have to reset your intent. And that is a beautiful idea. And those were beautiful words of wisdom handed to me by her. So we are still waiting. um, we are still waiting for her, and we're still waiting for a couple more viewers too. We're also waiting for questions too. Questions on Seven Knot Candles um, are welcomed and are like I said, they're welcome. um, and don't be afraid to ask whatever questions that you may have. And for those of you that see me going back and forth at the Facebook page and Facebook messages to answer any questions that I received about the topic for this week, because I did receive some on there on that side, and I would like to thank those people for those questions. Whether they came privately and you want them to stay private, or whether they came out loud and you want them to be out loud. Um, Thank you. Uh, oh, I also have a really I also have to talk about something else that I've been doing too. I kind of have been studying a little bit more into astrology, and I've actually been learning to apply that to the character traits of people that I'm working for. And I don't know if I could really connect this back to the Seven Knobs story, but I don't really know if I can connect this back to working with Seven Knobs. But the idea behind it was for me to better understand the signs, better understand the person's sign first off, and then second of all, maybe to have a better understanding of the work that I can do for a person based on their sign. And so that's something that I thought to be very important. So we are going to talk about Seven Knobs as soon as my godmother gets here. And tonight I'm working in a bit of a different space. Last time you guys caught me, I was not in my natural surrounding. I was just, you know, I was not in my natural surrounding. I was actually somewhere different. And tonight I'm in my own space, my own sanctuary, if you would like to call it that. And so if you hear some noises, if you hear a cat meow, that is my cat, Leo. He's made many appearances in my videos. If you hear a child yelling, that is my baby sister. And she actually just turned 5 today. She is a Gemini. So I'm not going to be able to get her to be quiet. But but if you her, and 9 times out of 10, she's yelling for no reason because she's 5 years old. Hmm. And then she goes yelling for no reason, apparently. I don't know if my microphone can pick it up, but she is yelling now. she's she's got the voice of, I don't know what she has the voice of, canary. And we are still waiting for Miss Lorena to show before we proceed with any discussion, because I could trust me, I could have a one-sided discussion or a one-person discussion, and I would go back and forth with myself. It's just that it's a lot more boring that way because you're only getting two opinions. If there are any questions, please do ask, and I will answer them. And when my godmother appears, she will. I will go back and ask her to answer the questions as well. Oh my gosh, my hair. It seems like it might be customary for her to be traditionally late, but I mean, it seems like it might be a customary for her to be fashionably late, but let us see, let us see, let us see. She's on her way now. Hmm. And like I can't help but to sit in awkward silence as I wait for my godmother. Uh, you know, she is the other half of the show. We were actually just talking about this the other day, and I was like, no, you're the co-host. The first time you're the guest, the second time you're a co-host. And everything after that, you're just well, everything after that is just as much my show as it's just as much your show as it is my show. Um, and I'm actually very proud that she agreed to do this with me, and she's agreed to make it maybe a more than twice thing. I think she would like to do it at least one or two more times, and that is going to be um, so much fun. Because these have been so much fun. Is it me or is it just dreadfully quiet in here? It's probably me because you guys cannot hear anything. So, hold on 1 second. Like I said, things are dreadfully quiet. So I put on a little bit of something, something a little bit. I like background noise. But as I've stated once before, the topic for tonight is a seven knob candle. And for you that do not know what a seven knob candle, it is a type of figure candle that consists of seven knobs. And the whole purpose of these candles is that you charge them with an intent and you work them for 7 days, either 7 consecutive days or, 7 days on the same 7 times on the same day for to attract a specific purpose. So an example would be, if you're doing maybe a working to separate two people, you might start that on a Saturday and work a seven knob candle of a specific color and work that all the way up until Friday. And after that is done, you might do a specific type of working to bring two other people together that Friday. Another thing that you could do is you could light a seven candle. So if you would like to attract success, you get a green or a yellow seven knob candle, and you would light a knob of that candle every Sunday for 7 Sundays consecutively. Um, and we're also going to be talking about alternatives to seven knob candles, but still working with the idea of a seven knob. Um, I personally am a lover of a. Oh, here she is, my co-host, my beautiful godmother. How are you, Lorena?
I'm great. Hi, everyone. How are you doing today?
I am good. I had a wonderful day. How has your day been?
It's been wonderful, too.
That
Every
is
day is a
very good.
blessing.
Amen. Amen to
Yes,
that.
absolutely.
So, I was just explaining seven knob candles, and now that you are here, I will let you speak a little bit on seven knob candles because I know that you probably have a lot to say on the matter. So,
Well, what I want to a 7-Up candle here to show everyone. They do come in a couple of different styles. Like you can get a smaller size of this.
I personally, when I burn seven knobs, I like to use seven knobs that have longer bulbs on them. Um,
Elongate.
a short seven knob, and I like to use the elongated ones because it's easier to tell where one knob ends and another knob begins, and that could be very
No, I mean you can
effective.
tell where one knob ends and the other.
Yeah, that Yeah, I understand. Well, I'm not saying that you can't on that candle, but the thing about it is that when it starts to burn, sometimes they burn and the wax around it, it morphs the shape of the knob. With the elongated ones, you understand where, while it's burning, you understand where one ends and the next knob begins. So, this is where this one started, and I can put it out right here and then, save the rest for a later date and time. But I was talking about seven knobs, how they could be worked. I said that you could work them for 7 consecutive days, or you could work them for seven. Light a seven knob candle on a specific day for 7 days. So like lighting a seven knob on a Sunday for 7 Sundays in order to attract success and prosperity.
Okay. What else?
I also talked a little bit about how we were going to talk about how you actually were going to talk a little bit about the different uses for seven knobs,
Okay.
and I planned a little bit. I plan to give out. I plan to give at least a working, at least one with a seven knob candle, and yeah.
Okay. Well, you can use a 7 knob for just about any purpose, the same way you would use a glass encased, or if you're like doing spell work for a week each day and you're using smaller like votives or something as to keep going, you could use one of these. Also, we have people that want to learn to practice like root work or conjure, who don't want to use the Bible. So you could use a white 7 knob in place of like your cross candles for people that don't want to use those. These are a good replacement for any candle where you want to continue to focus, you want to remind yourself, you want to have to come back every day, relight your candle, say your devotion, repeat your petition. They're really good for focusing your intention. So that's another one of the things that I really like about these. And then too, they also come in a variety of colors. You could also use these for figurals. Like I said, I love the 7 knobs. Where did your picture go?
I'm still here. I'm
I mean,
still
oh,
here.
okay. I'm like, did he hang up? Yeah, they're very good. They're very versatile. You just don't hear a lot about them. And as far as what Sean was talking about, where as it's melting, it might become a little morphed or disfigured. If you're worried about not being able to tell, you could always put pins to remind you. And also that can add to your intention. You can focus your intention into the pin as you're putting it in to the ridges. Okay. And here's a green one. So you can also get white, you can get black, and any use that you'd have for those colors comes in the 7 knob. So as far as colors, typically, we see green for prosperity work, money work, success work, getting ahead work. But green is also a color that is representative of love. So if you're looking for a longer lasting love, a more companionship, friendship, overall closeness, green is a good color. It's also a good color for attracting a soulmate. I think that green is often overlooked when doing love work. It's good for fertility as well. And then the same with red, love, passion. It's also good for power. I particularly love red for doing self-empowerment, sort of like affirmations when you're doing work on yourself and on your situation where you need to be able to speak your mind, to influence people, to garner charisma, magnetism, things like that. Red is an excellent color. And again, using the power of the red color, refocusing your intention each day for 7 days as you're lighting the 7 knobs. If you're using the pins, those pins also contain your focus. If you're using sigils or if you're using Bible passages, everything can be focused. And what I like about the 7 knob too is that it allows you to add those layers, because each time you put a pin in, each time you come back to light your candle, it's just layers, and it adds, and it just, it compounds itself. So that's another reason I like seven knobs. Yeah, we use a lot of glass encased, obviously. But with this one, with the glass encased, you just go back, check on it, check on the burn patterns and whatnot, flame. But with this, you come back each and every day and you do the whole thing all over again. And to me, that's a little better than lighting an individual candle, because these are all touching each other. So once again, you have representation of those layers, which just in and of itself adds another layer, and that adds strength to your work. It adds strength to your own discipline, and it allows you to move at a faster pace. You typically tend to see more movement, in my experience, when using one of these, simply because of those layers that get added on. What do you think, Sean?
Well, I was just about to interject too. Another thing that I like about the seven knob is a lot of people. I like to incorporate Bible passages and passages from the Book of the Dead into some of the workings that I do. And so, if I'm doing if I'm using a lengthy passage that happens to be that I can happen to break down into 7 parts, I might work that with the 7 knob candle.
Exactly.
Or I might, that way I get to add a layer. It's all about adding those layers as you're moving through. And then another thing that I like to do is I really like to use 7 knob candles for protection too.
Yes.
Because
any purpose.
Adding those layers of protection are, layers on top of layers on top of layers.
And you might want to name those knobs for ancestors, or you might want to name those knobs for archangels or any other deity that you want to petition.
Yes. And, you also talked a little bit about sigils. Carving different types of sigils into the candle could be very beneficial when you want to build. The whole purpose, and the reason I keep saying building on and adding on layers of magic, is because the one thing that I would really stress about 7 knob candles is that they are builders. They do help you build energy and build energy and build energy, and then help you to push it forward and manifest it into the world.
Yes,
I remember the first time that I asked you about a 7 knob candle. And I asked you, what would you do? I was so
excited because nobody is concerned. It seems like.
Well, we hear a lot about the man figure candle, and we hear a lot about the other figure candles, but 7 knob candles.
If you don't want to go out and buy all these different styles of candles, and you can always use a 7 knob candle.
Right. I think that I think that a 7 knob candle is beautiful because, it's so diverse in its uses that you don't have to. I even
had a very good friend talk about using a 7 knob candle for sex magic.
Well, and like you said, 7 knob candles are so diverse. I mean, that's just that exactly. You can use them in place of other candles. That's why I was trying to take this whole thing. You can use a 7 knob candle for anything. You just need to know exactly how to use it. And I wouldn't even say that the color matters all too much, because as long as you can state your intent with every knob, the color is less important. But then the color
just adds another layer. That's all.
Yes, the color is just, it is, it might be important to some people, but if you don't have the right
in a pinch, right? You're not required to use that layer.
I think we were talking about this yesterday. We were discussing a little bit, and you had some beautiful ideas about how to divine with the 7 knob candle. Would you mind just talking about those just a little bit?
I don't remember what I said.
Well, good thing that
I'm pins. If you do put pins in your candles, you can name your pins for people, and as the wax melts, you can see how close they are together, things like that. These tend to melt in a wider pool of wax, and they actually leave a lot to divine. So if you're using herbs, if you're rolling your candles, and again with the pins, anything that you're using, it's actually a lot easier than it is to read a glass encased candle, and it's more tangible, you know, especially if you've got items on here that you've pinned to the candle or that you've named. um, it just makes for a deeper story and also a deeper understanding. You can name
And then
specific things.
I
So
know that we I know that we talked to, and you keep talking about glass encased candles, and I have one here. And the whole reason that I have this here is because I noticed that some people, instead of actually using 7 knobs, they actually use glass encased candles that have been equally sectioned off into rows of 7. And there are 2 reasons why I don't suggest that. First of all, when you go to light the 7 knob, first of all, when you go to light a 7-day candle that has been put out and relit, what you do is you take a lighter and you put it in there, and you start to get fire marks.
mhm.
You start to get singeing on the around the rim of the glass, around the glass, and that can affect the reading that you get off of these glasses. Because
Yeah,
a lot of times when people do light candles like this, they do like to divine off of images
the
that they
smoke,
see in the
right,
glass.
the soot. Mhm.
Yes, and another thing that I see problematic with that is that as you light the candle, as you put it out, and as you know light it, you have to take the lighter in, deeper and deeper, and that really it's really going to affect the reading. It's really going to look really bad on the
It makes
candle,
it more
and
difficult for you as the
it does.
practitioner.
And it does,
So
especially if you dress the candle or you have the candle. And I would really just find a set and if you're not going to go out and purchase. So what I would do was that I would take a pillar candle, and I would cut seven equally spaced
notches.
lines into it, and that can be another thing.
I don't know if anyone has experienced any technical difficulties, but for me, Sean is frozen and I'm not getting much audio.
Uh, I'm still here.
Yeah, I can hear that you're there. I'm just getting bits and pieces. No. Well, how many people do we have visiting with us this evening?
Um, we have one, but we have one. Your friend, Josh Leon is here, and
Aww.
he he
Thanks,
actually
Josh.
made he actually went as far as to say, this is actually the first time I'm hearing about the 7 knob candle. Excuse my ignorance, and I would like to say that that is not ignorance at all.
Well,
This is just a
this
new
is what we're
experience.
here for. He's not familiar with hoodoo conjure root work, so
Um,
that
so,
is why we were here. But I did talk to a few people on my own who had questions. Um,
and if you would like to bring up those questions, I have some questions on my end as well.
Ask me your questions, and then I'll tell
Okay,
you.
well, well, the first question wasn't specifically about 7 knobs, but it was just a general question, and the person asked, "What is a good way to do a long amount of working within a certain amount of time?" And
What
so the scenario
amount?
that this a long amount of working. So like the scenario that the person was giving was they want to do a breakup spell, and works to separate people um, are usually done on a Saturday, and they would like to also pair that separation spell with a spell to bring 2 people together. Now the thing about
That's
that
not
is
advisable. I mean, is he one of the people to bring together?
He is, according to what I've heard of of the story. No, he isn't.
Okay.
But the situation goes, and this is a perfect example of where the seven knob comes in, because if there is a working like this, and you feel like there's a negative influence on a person, and that person does need to be taken away from that negative influence and brought to a better, more positive influence, you can,
Absolutely.
yes, you
In
can start
instances
that
of
work.
abuse or mistreatment.
Yes. And then there is just, and this is just not to go off on a tangent, but there is just a person that can be negative for you. Just, their energy is just a bringer. It's just bringing you down for no reason. But like I said, in this instance where two people need to be separated for a just cause, starting that work on Saturday and continuing that for 7 days. So Saturday should bring you all the way back to Friday, when you could do the proper type of love working to end everything out. Um, Another thing that you could do is maybe even take, seven, if you would like to take a longer bit of time to do this, you would light a seven knob candle for 7 Saturdays in a row, like I suggested, working on one specific day, but just relighting that seven knob every, Saturday. And then at the end of those 7 Saturdays, you do a come to me working on a separate day.
But not for the same person, right?
Not
Who
for the
just
same
broke up.
Not for the same person that just broke
Okay.
up.
So they have like four different people. They want to break up one couple and then they want to find love. But the person they want to find love for is single?
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
So there,
I just
there.
have to make sure because like the way that I'm following along is they want this person to break up with that person and then find love with somebody else. And I would say in between that period, there would need to be some healing work done. But if this one person is talking about completely different people, then that's fine.
They're talking about completely different
Yeah.
people.
So I just wanted to differentiate that for people who are watching, just in case they got it the way I did.
I guess sometimes I can be a little bit confusing, and in my mind, it makes sense.
No, no, I mean it's not confusing. That's what we're here for, to clarify.
Um, and I also thought about the 7 day white candles, because I do ancestor offerings every Sunday.
Yeah, and
Um,
that's what one of my questions was, using 7 ups for ancestor altars.
yes. What I do is, and there are a couple of different ways. I've seen this actually done in a couple of different styles. I know people. I like to use white candles for my ancestors. I do those offering Sundays after I do other things. And so I take a seven knob and I'll just light it every Sunday, but there are other ways of working that too. I've also seen people that, they might put seven ancestors' names on those candles, and those are specific ancestors that they are making a candle offering to. So they might put, Grandma Betty on it, Aunt Rose, da 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 da,
Right.
seven more,
Hmm.
5 more ancestors, and they'll burn each light to give light to that spirit. Lorena, did you have anything that you wanted to say about that?
No, that was just what I was going to say. You can use each knob for a different ancestor, relative, archangel, or you could, if you want to do it as a group, you could do it that way too, depending upon who you have on your altar.
And when you say group, do you mean like a group
I mean,
of?
if you're just going to burn the whole candle for a particular group of ancestors, just to remind yourself, and you don't have to name the knobs if you don't want to. It works
Mhm.
either way.
And I think that's a lovely idea, especially because I actually had a similar conversation to someone about, I don't have any ancestors, and I was like, everyone has ancestors, whether it be the ancestors of the magical practitioners that came before you, or whether it be the ancestors of the African Americans that came before you. Everyone has ancestors. Ancestors aren't always directly from your bloodline. They're just people that understand and want to help you through the plight that you go through in life. So
that's absolutely right. You can say guardian angels.
yes.
I mean, if you like elemental magic, you can use elementals for 7-Up. They fit your style.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's what I want everyone to know.
Another question that I got was, what is the correct form for anointing a 7-Up? So the thing about it is that, like, usually when we dress pillar candles, we start from the middle and we dress out to the ends. But with a 7-Knob candle, a lot of people don't do that. They find other ways of dressing. And I guess this person kind of wanted to know, is there a proper form for dressing a 7-Knob candle?
You could dress a 7-Knob the same way that you dress a pillar, or you could anoint each knob separately as you prefer.
That is something else that I would suggest. And then I'm also a person that, when I anoint, I double anoint, as it's been known to call, as it's been called. That's when you anoint with that's when you anoint with oils and herbs. And so, the thing about it is that with a 7-Knob, you can't roll and get an equal coating of herbs on it. That's probably so what I do really is I will take a small, safe amount of ground herbs that have been ground into a fine enough powder, and I will sprinkle those a little bit just on top of the 7-Knob right before I light the first bulb, and then once that bulb is put out, I will sprinkle a little bit more on top of the second bulb, and so forth until the candle is finished burning.
Right.
Leo has just joined the party, so
Leonidas.
We should just be aware that the diva has arrived. The true star of the show has arrived.
I don't see him yet.
Oh, he's just like, I'm just gonna chill here. Just my presence will be known. He's but that is another way of doing it. Do you have any suggestions about it in terms of double dressing a candle?
No, but each knob, as Sean was stating, when it burns down, putting more herbs or oil. Keep in mind too, with the layer theme, you could use certain herbs on this knob, and then again, different herbs, and then even as the candle melts, we're getting layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. Say you have a job and you want more respect at your job, you want more influence at your job, you want a raise, you want a promotion. So as you're adding herbs and oils that influence each category as you go down, you're still adding another layer of power to your candle, which is all going to culminate as the wax melts to the end. And so that's why I love these, because you can really follow along, and every day you can tell your own story and you can add what you want to it as you go along. It's just wonderful.
Mm-hmm. It is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
I apologize that I keep taking drinks of my juice, but I've developed a sore throat. I think it's due to all the rain.
Oh my gosh.
90 degrees one day, 48 degrees the next day.
It's seasonally cool here too. The clouds are gathering, and it's supposed to rain all weekend.
Yeah, it's been raining here on and off for days now.
So did you want to go on? Did you have more questions or?
No. Maybe.
Okay.
I mean, I have to. We can talk about other things while I check.
Okay. I also I have one more question. There are what specific colors do seven knob candles come in? I think that that's just that's a question that a lot of people ask. I've only ever seen seven knobs in three candles, red, white, and black. But they do, as Lorena stated, and yeah, but like as Lorena stated, they do come in green. I've seen them online for purchase in colors like yellow, blue, purple.
Right.
Um, okay, so actually, we have a question here that I think we should address immediately. The question is, your friend Josh, he said, I've read that black seven knob candles are used for destruction and revenge work. Now, I would
Well,
like to
black in general is used for nefarious
right.
purposes.
I was just gonna state that any black candle could be worked for revenge or destructive purposes. That's just a negative association with the color. But I mean, black seven knob candles also have a very positive effect too,
They could be
because
used for
I mean, if
transformation
you
work.
they could be used for transformation. They could be used for
Yes.
cleansing and healing, as black
Mhm.
candles are a lot of times
They
used
could be
and
used
burned.
for absorbing negative energy being directed towards an individual.
Yes. There are also rites, as they've been known to call, or spells where that require you to return sickness. So what exactly it is that you could take a seven knob candle, um, and you take it to a place where sickness dwells, like a hospital, and you burn that seven knob to get rid of another person's sickness, and then you return the wax to the hospital. Was that the train in the background?
Yeah, the window is open.
That was loud.
It wasn't even that loud. It gets louder when they're going really fast.
Might be experiencing a little bit of technical difficulty.
Yeah, there's some technical issues going on. I don't know if I'm having any.
Um, but seven knob candles and seven knob candles are can be used for a wide range of things. I mean, if you intend to use them for destruction, then they could be used for destruction. Just like if you intend to use a black figure
But
candle,
if, it,
a
if,
black figure
if
candle.
destruction is truly your intent, honestly, you could use any color candle that you wanted. You could use a candle the color, their favorite color, the person who you intend to destroy. You could use your own favorite color. I mean, you can use, like I said, the color is part of your intent. It just adds another layer. But if the color is not a part of your practice, it's not something that you absolutely have to abide by.
But yes, I did feel like that was a question
Yeah,
that
it's a
needed to
very
be
good
addressed.
question.
It was a very nice
I have a
question.
little black stone. It's not a black candle though.
Oh, and I feel like that's something else that we should talk about. Pairing the crystals with the workings. I actually recently saw something really interesting today. I went down to the local conjure shop where I get my goods and everything, and the owner had gotten handmade knob candles that came in a variety of colors. They came in 77 different colors. I was like, that is so cool. Like, could you imagine what people could do with that? It was
What type
like
of candle?
it was a seven knob candle that had been handmade,
Oh, okay.
and it came in different colors, and I was like,
Mm.
that's just an awesome idea. Like, people need to they need to be mass producing and selling these, because they had red, they had blue, they had green, they had black, they had yellow, they had pink and white at the bottom. So it was just it was amazing to me because like I was like, why aren't they making these by the masses? Can't we? Yeah, we need these. And I was like, oh my gosh, if Lorena was here, she would flip. Um, Another thing that the multi-purpose aspect is something that we talked about, and I just thought that was just I should have brought that up at the beginning, but um, like I was saying, so oh, oh, I forget what I was gonna say.
Today is such a great day. Like, even though it was overcast, it was overcast today. However, it was still a beautiful day. And I was walking in this glade, and there were between like 5 and 7 little squirrels, and they were just standing there. Like, they were just chilling, just hanging out, and they didn't run off. They looked at me like, we were here first, and they just didn't budge. They just stood there, and they were like eating nuts or berries or something. And I have to say that was just about the cutest thing that I've ever seen, because normally when you see squirrels, they'll stop for a second, or you can like view them from a distance, but they'll just run away really fast. And these just stood there on their hind legs, just hanging out with each other and eating whatever was abundant on the ground. It was very sweet.
Well, and you know what? It's funny that you say that because today as I was going to the conjure shop, we passed a lake, and we passed a park, and the park has a big pond in the middle of it, and I saw 2 swans on the pond, and I was like, oh, that's just
Oh, I love
right.
seeing swans. You don't
They were
see them
just
very often.
you
Right.
don't. Well, actually, you see them a lot here in Nebraska because we have a lot of ponds, a lot of water.
And so they're
People
like
don't.
wild swans.
Yeah, they're like wild
Wow.
swans that come. Like, and my mom takes my little sister to go out and feed them, and I was just like, oh, But today is actually my little sister's birthday, and so
Aww.
yes, she turned 5 today, and she said that
Kindergarten.
yes, she starts kindergarten in the fall. She went to, and she's currently in the summer school program, and they went to the aquarium today, and she got to feed the ducks. Oh, she was so excited to tell me
I
about the
know
ducks.
she
She was like,
was.
oh my gosh, we got to feed the ducks. The ducks were eating the bread that we and I was like, oh, did you see any fish? She was like, yeah, but I don't want to talk about the fish. I want to talk about the ducks. I was like, okay, well, let's talk about the ducks. But Josh Leon, he asked about the Rainbow Seven Knobs. Every time I think about Rainbow Seven Knobs, I think that's a beautiful idea. Why didn't we come up with that first? we, but he asked, are there uses for Rainbow Seven Knob candles?
Well, I
Can they be
think what
used
I
for
talked about
other?
earlier about the layers, like of a particular working, but like the layers you want to achieve at your job, that would be something that would be absolutely perfect.
I also think that the seven knob candles would probably be very good for in that particular order if I remember all the colors correctly. I mean, they sell glass encased candles of a similar nature,
Yes, they
and the
do.
whole purpose of them selling glass candles in that similar nature is so that each section is a specific intent. And like
Mhm.
you said, this is a more focused candle. You don't let it just burn through. You start
Right.
it, stop it. So
Mhm.
you get to set a more varied intent. But I think that when it comes to things that are extraordinary, like seven knobs, you just really have to let your mind, like the rainbow colored seven knobs, or you just really have to let your mind wonder and be fantastic with it. Um, those are things that I once heard. I once heard a friend of mine say that when it came to her work, she was an artist and she doesn't look back at what she does. She just moves forward with what feels good in the soul. And that is a perfect way of describing what any type of work should be. It should be an art that feels good in the soul that you keep moving forward with. Um,
You're absolutely right.
so that is that's just my, I guess, my 2 cents on that matter. Um, but a variety of workings is I think that that's a beautiful way of putting it. It can be used for a variety of workings. You know, you could start with the you could, from the top to from the beginning to the end, could be a different purpose, and that's the whole purpose of having rainbow color anything, that you can get as much use out of it and as much intent. But I would also like to state this too. The thing about seven knobs is that, like we said, you can add intent to them. And I know I've given out several workings, but let me add to those workings that I've given out. Meditation with a seven knob can be extremely powerful. Affirmations or mantras that are
Yeah.
repeated.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So if you want to, have a different affirmation for every day of the week, you have this seven knob that you can, this first mantra or this first affirmation is for the first seven knob, for the first knob, the second, this, all the way through. And then mantras when it comes to meditation. So you light one specific seven knob that you will meditate with for the entire time. And as each bulb burns through, you add on to that mantra, or you say an extra, you say that many rounds of, prayers. So I don't know if you could exactly do a whole mala set, which is 158 beads, if I remember correctly, in 158 beads in a one bulb of a candle. But if you can, more power to you. And I suggest that that's how you work the candle with meditation, if you choose to use mala beads or whatever type of prayer beads you choose to use. So
So you see how versatile they are.
they are versatile, and
And so I
they
just
do
wanted
have a
people to
wide
know when they just walk past them, when you're out at your conjure shop and you're walking past the seven knobs, as everyone does, and wonders what those are for, what can you use that for, and you know you want to get one. Now you have several ideas with which to run with. Really, you know how versatile they are. Oh, I would suggest you need to burn these on a plate, on something wide. They do tend to create a nice sized pool of wax. So you don't want to be making a mess on your altars or on your tables, whatever you're doing. You want to always make sure these are on a plate with a steep enough incline that it's not going to overflow, because a lot of them do create, like I said, a hefty wax pool.
Yes, yes. And uh, I think we're going to conclude tonight's Q&A. But as a conclusion, I want to leave you guys with one final working, and this will be the absolute final working for the seven knob candle. We've talked a lot about how to use seven knobs, but briefly I mentioned using seven knobs for cleansing. So I will give you a small ritual for cleansing that you can use, and all you require is a white seven knob and a picture of yourself, and a sage bundle, three things that are really easy to come across, including the seven knob. And this is what you do. The first thing that you do is you take the seven knob candle, and you would like to sage this candle thoroughly. It is always important to cleanse the product before you begin to use it in the actual working. And this sage will also be used to cleanse yourself and to cleanse your body too. And you take this seven knob candle and you read Psalms 51 over it. Now, this is very important. Psalms 51 is a traditional psalms used in Hoodoo for cleansing, specifically because of certain verses and passages. And as you read through the verse and passages, you'll understand why it is used for cleansing. But so start reading Psalms 51 over this candle, and every day as you light this candle for cleansing, and it will be stretched out over 7 days. Every day as you start this light this candle for your cleansing purpose, you are to read this passage and allow that energy, that light, to cleanse all of the darkness and negativity off of your body, and also restore your body to its physical health. That is my gift to you, along with every other thing, and along with the presence of my wonderful godmother. Lorena, thank you so much for doing this with me.
You're
and
welcome.
Did you want to do another one?
Well, I think we should. You hit about crystals, so I think we definitely need to talk about crystals.
Oh my gosh, that would be that is a lovely idea, especially considering the blog post that I did on the 12 holy stones of the Bible.
Yeah, and among some people, crystals used with hoodoo or conjure, it's there's a fair amount of controversy there.
So and those would be wonderful things to discuss.
Right. As we talked about earlier about the stones of the Bible and what they represent. So.
And I would also like to ask, creating content for your own YouTube channel going?
Yes, that is very true.
What is that? That sounded. Wait, okay, everyone. She said
I need to gather. What did you say? I need to get content for my channel, my station.
I was asking how.
Oh, you were asking. Okay, I thought you were stating. Okay, so yes, I'm still planning that.
Okay, it sounded like she tried to dodge the question.
No, I said yes. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it.
Guys, now she's affirming. I know that she's like affirming that she's going to do it.
Just in case, you guys, I have a YouTube channel with a video of my cat, Oliver.
That doesn't count.
I know, I'm just kidding. I know that doesn't count. But it was funny, so whatever.
It was funny. Okay, so my godmother is a hoot, a howl, and a good time. And thank you so much for being here again, Lorena. And I will most definitely contact you. We'll talk about doing that the next Hoodoo Q&A. I think crystals is a lovely topic. Thank you again for being here.
Absolutely.
And have a nice night, everybody.
Good night.